I mean, I've always been infatuated with motorcycles and going fast and jumping far, and I snowboarded a lot when I was in the early '90s as well, and I was always able to jump those distances, 60, 70, 80 feet on my dirt bike and all that. The snowboarding jumps in the parks were pretty substantial back then as well, so I was pretty familiar with those speeds and jump sizes. And then I also saw Matt Hoffman get towed in on his bike into that quarter pipe. So I was always wondering, Mike T and I used to talk about building big ramps way back in the day. Like, this is when I was like super young. I remember sitting on a plane with him talking about, and this is like early H3 days. So, I've always had the fantasy, and I used to draw these big ramps on in class all the time too. Like, huge ramps with these little guys, and mountain-sized ramps. That was my thing. But I always had this fantasy of building these big ramps and trying to do bigger airs. And then I saw Matt do it, and it kind of solidified to me that it was possible to potentially hit a ramp at that speed. I didn't know if skateboard wheels could handle the speed the same as bike tires. I didn't know any of the math or physics in that, so it was kind of like, well, maybe it might work. And I didn't know any of the ramp dimensions he had used either. So I just took some of my knowledge in skateboarding and built my own ramp that had its own dimensions. I didn't use anything or base anything off Matt's, but definitely inspired and loved Matt to death. But that was the initial, from my initial commitment to trying to explore, what's possible on the skateboard, or explore what I think is potentially possible. Like, I don't see it just as tricks anymore. I'm seeing like, obstacles and ramp designs and things that could dictate new trick potential. Not so much like, okay, what's possible in that arena. It's like, all right, let's create a new arena and create new possibilities. That'd be probably Jay, Mark Gonzalez, Matt Hensley, Tony Hawk, Eric Cosson, Tony. I mean, because his reputation and he's reached more people than anybody in skateboarding has, so I think he would have more of an influence on anybody. I think as a skateboarder itself on skateboarding, I wouldn't say that, but as a skateboarding having an influence on the world, I think Tony's got the most influence or power as a skateboarder from his reputation and his and that doesn't come from just being Tony Hawk. I mean, he's worked for that, obviously. That's comes from his being the legend that he is. I don't know. I mean, in some, I mean, I've influenced, I think I've influenced, some transition, skating a bit, maybe. I don't know. Different phases of my career, I think I've had different kinds of influences. So it's hard for me to say overall what I think I've done, and I don't see myself as an influence more so than just somebody that's intrigued by trying to do different things on my board. I know that skateboarding's been good to me, and I'm very grateful for how embraced some of the things that I've done have been, and I'm lucky to be to be able to continue doing what I do. In the era of skateboarding, such as the early '80s when Del Mar, and that era was happening, and like not only was the actual like skate scene evolving, but there was like photographer scene evolving simultaneously, and some of those guys were skateboarders, but if it was Grant or Swank or Swift, but TransWorld, I think was an essential building block in skateboarding as a sport, period, because there was obviously there was a Thrasher, there was other editorial magazines out there, but TransWorld was like at one point the pinnacle, because Southern California, Del Mar was the skate scene. There was a moment in time where that was the epicenter of what was happening in skateboarding, and TransWorld was right here in its own backyard, and be able to harness all of that. I just feel like if Del Mar didn't exist and TransWorld wasn't there to publicize it correctly, skateboarding might have deteriorated in that time frame.